I got back from Washington Friday. Nothing terribly eventful happened in Washington this week. But Friday was not a good day. Jobs numbers came out Friday.
What jobs?
Jobs numbers came out Friday, and though people in the media are always surprised, I think most Americans weren't very surprised when they saw that depressing jobs number come out on Friday. And I say that I don't think most Americans were surprised because, again, I think it was Gallup. I don't know who it was. I should check, and I will. Thank you. A poll was taken about 4 or 5 weeks ago by a Gallup or a reputable firm, and a startling number came out. 83% of America, 83% of Americans still believe we're in a recession. Technically, we've been out of recession for almost 3 years. Technically. But 83% of Americans still feel like we're in a recession. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about most Americans? That's actually a question I'd love you to answer.
They're starting to pay attention.
They have no confidence in the government, they have no confidence in the dollar.
Well, you're getting a little ahead of me. You're close, you're close, you're close, but if you poll Americans and 83% of them still say, heck yeah, we're in a recession. Heck yeah, what are they telling you?
No money.
Huh?
No jobs.
They're not working, they don't have money, they're struggling, they're maybe losing their home, they can't afford health care, right on down the line. That number tells us that they feel like they're in a recession. When you feel like you're in a recession, you feel like, or you are not working. Or you're working part-time when you want to work full-time. Or you're underemployed. You're not working as you should be working. Or you really are struggling to keep your house. Your house is underwater. Your health care premiums are going like that. The prices of gas is where we know where the price of gas is. The cost of food. So you're struggling. So to me, that tells me 83% of this country is struggling. They feel the struggle that a recession brings. And no matter how any politician wants to sugarcoat it, and they all try, and look, this is President Obama's recovery, so he's going to try. No statistic, no number can refute what an American feels and how they live. And you can't tell me we're in a recovery if I don't have a job. You can't tell me the economy's growing if I'm this close to foreclosing on my home. You just can't. Yeah.
We're seeing more foreclosures now than we did
Yes.
a year or even 2 years ago.
Yes. There'll be more foreclosures in Elgin this year than last.
And what are they basing their poll on? What people are they gathering to get this information from?
Well, it was a national poll. Again, it was, I apologize, it might have been Gallup, but a fairly reputable firm that knows how to do this kind of a thing. And there have been other polls that say the same thing. Look, folks, this isn't hard to understand. When you are in an economy that can only produce 69,000 jobs last month, we're not doing well. We need to create almost twice that many jobs every month just to keep up with population growth. So, look, we're hurting. And the most frustrating part about being in Congress, easily the most frustrating part about running for office, is all these other issues get thrown into the mix. War on women, contraception,
Immigration.
Romney's religion, where Obama was born, student loans, what Romney did when he was in high school. Right? Both sides play this. Shame on both sides for playing this.
Distraction.
Distractions, shame on us
Yeah.
if we let the distractions work.
In fact,
If I got one prayer for all of us, it's that most American voters this year are smart enough to keep their eyes on the prize, to keep their eyes on what matters. And there's really only one thing that matters in this election. It's one long thing, and I'm going to say it. Americans are not working. The economy is not growing. Your government is flat broke. And we have a piece of healthcare legislation that unless we get rid of it, it will ruin this country. That is all this election is about. And all I want to know, if I'm Hispanic or African American or white, if I'm 87 years old or 37 years old, if I make $1 million or I'm struggling to get by on 30 grand, all I want to know from Obama and Romney and Duckworth and Walsh is what are you going to do about those things? America's not working. Tell me what your answer is. That's it! This economy's not growing. How are you going to help it grow? We have a government right now that unless we cut it down, we will hand to our kids and our grandkids a bill that they'll never forgive us for. What are you going to do about that, Walsh, Duckworth? And this thing called Obamacare. Whoo, doggy. Do you like it or do you not like it?
Love it.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. That's all I want to know from my candidates. Are you going to keep it and expand it? Do you want to repeal it? Replace it with what? These are the only issues American voters should be concerned about. And heaven help us if we let us get distracted. Heaven help us. I've said this before. I'm only 31 years old. Actually, it's a pretty good audience. Nobody laughed. That means I actually may look like I'm 31. I'm a young man. Easily, this is the most important election of my life. That's my opinion. It's the most important election in my life.
of everyone's.
And I don't care if you love Obama or you can't stand Obama. I don't care if you consider yourself a crazy conservative or a loony liberal or somewhere in between. You and me, we will all be hurt this year if we let this election get determined by these distractions. Because we have a country right now that's shaken. I mean, we have a country right now that's shaken. And it's about to fall. We got to fix it. We got to fix it. Let's hope that our election is up to how important things are in the country right now. If not, we all lose. Hey folks, when I got elected 2 years ago, I didn't want there to be another member of Congress that holds as many town halls as I do. And we've done it. And it was kind of funny because we did a big town hall in Schaumburg last weekend. And a couple things that I said there have been all over the news. And it's kind of great. And a few reporters said, "Oh my God, Joe, did you know you said this? Did you know you were being taped? Hello,
Yeah.
hello. Did you know you were being taped? What do you think about this?" And I almost yawned. I said, follow me around every week. Follow me around every weekend. I'm always doing this. I'm always speaking with and listening to my constituents. I've done about 200 of these. And what I said in Schaumburg last week, I've said before, and I'll say again. The reason politicians don't do a lot of this is because of what happened last weekend. Joe Walsh says something, gets a lot of people on the other side all revved up. It's out there on YouTube, and then it's all over the place. That scares most politicians. I could care less. I could care less. But this is what keeps politicians, to a large degree, away from doing this.
You don't have to worry when you're not deceitful.
Well, yes, you would think no matter where you are, you're a Democrat congressman or a Republican, just say what you believe, and you should be fine, right? But you know, look, it's a tough business. It's a tough game. Every time I'm taped, they don't tape everything I say. They'll cut it up a little bit to make it sound worse. That's what both sides do. And that scares most politicians. But look, we have to get this November right. And this is why I put myself out here all the time. And I know every single syllable I say is being taped. It doesn't matter. Not now. There's too much at stake. There's too much at stake. So, we've got one rule at our town halls, no matter what side you're on, respect each other. Always respect each other. Respect every opinion in this room. That we have to do. And sometimes I go over the line. Sometimes we all go over the line. When you do go over the line, know you went over the line and apologize. And I always try to. But respect every opinion in this room. This would be a very boring job, and town halls would be very boring if I only spoke with people who agreed with me.
That's true.
I'd be bored. I wouldn't like that. So it's why we go out of our way to invite everybody. Everybody.
But just think, Joe, you have the opportunity of telling people the truth.
Well, as I
And
see
changing
it.
their minds.
Right, as I see it, and we'll get into that. I'm going to make one point, and then we'll open this up to questions. And it's going to be related to what I said last weekend. That's all over the video. That's all over YouTube right now. Republicans and Democrats, generally, both want what's best for the country. We fight about and we argue about one thing. What's the role of government? What do you want government to do about it?
Stay out of my life.
Hold on. Hold on, you'll get your chance. Republicans and Democrats, I would argue, both want us to have the best schools in the world. Republicans and Democrats, I would argue, both want us to have the best healthcare system in the world. I would argue Republicans and Democrats both want us to have Americans working and the economy growing. They really do. What we fight about is, how do you get these things? And then it really comes down to, what's government's role? Okay? For instance, take schools. I've done a lot of work with school reform. I want us to have the best schools in the world. Now, how would I get us to have the best schools in the world? Well, I don't believe in a federal role, so I'd get rid of the federal Department of Education, and I would give parents, the consumers of education, the ones who really matter, I'd give them the freedom, because I agree, and I think hopefully everybody in this room agrees, part of the tax dollars we pay go to pay for our public schools. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
So my solution to get better schools would be, give that money that we all put into the system, give it directly to parents. Let parents decide if they want to send their kids to public, private, religious, Catholic or home schools. Let the people who use the